good evening, and good afternoon. I hope you guys have been having a fantastic week. I know I have. And for this week, we are doing a continuation, learning more about Oakbridge and 97ToNow. As you guys know, last week we had a fantastic interview with Ashley, and now we are going to continue that interview with somebody else from the audio drama world. So please introduce yourself, tell us your name, and the show or shows that you are a part of.
Well, I am James Devreaux Lewis. I am actually the president of 97ToNow Productions, and I am actually a producer, director, and actor on Murphy's Inc., which I know you've interviewed Mark Helton from that show, and as well as I am producer and director of the upcoming Oakbridge.
So many hats. How do you juggle them all?
It's... it can be a struggle sometimes.
I bet. So, what made you get into the world of audio dramas?
It was actually kind of an accident. So I have a podcast with Mark Helton, like I mentioned before, who you interviewed for Murphy's Inc. And he was working on a show when we kind of first started, early on in our process of starting the podcast, Fat and Black Connection. And the director of that show watched our show, liked the quality of my voice, and was like, hey, would you be interested in possibly getting, doing a small part in my show? And I was like, yeah, that's not an issue. And so that's kind of how it all got started. And, I enjoyed the project, listening to it and everything else. So being able to be a part of it was actually kind of fun. And then we got introduced to Murphy's Inc. And from there, I primarily just wanted to act in that show. We started 97ToNow Productions just to possibly be able to monetize for Fat and Black Connection. But when these other things started just kind of falling in our laps, we were just kind of like, oh, well, yeah, then I guess we need to figure this whole thing out. One of the things that we did once the first season of Murphy's Inc. was done, we kind of got full control of that. We also were working on another thing called Radio Story Hour, which kind of disintegrated later. But we had already recorded two pieces for that. One which I directed, one which Mark directed. So we got control of that through 97ToNow Productions, which was the first thing I really kind of directed fully on my own, which was called From the Jack R. Abbott Files, Murder by Garlic. And so that kind of was like, man, okay, I can really do this. And so when Oakbridge came around, after I had done editing and really kind of started digging into everything, I was like, you know what? I really like this project. I'm going to take this one on. So kind of everything kind of fell into our laps in a kind of weird way. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Gotcha, and that's amazing. And it's funny how you say you got into it whole accidentally. I accidentally got into the world of audio drama through I Love Lucy. I was playing around with my mom's collection of I Love Lucy DVDs, and on there was an episode of one of the audio dramas that Lucille Ball, or radio shows that she was a part of. And when I listened to it, it just left me in awe on how everything could be visualized through sound.
Yeah.
And it just kept me going. And I ended up jumping full throttle into Spotify and looking up all these different audio dramas. And it was pretty cool.
No, there's a ton of stuff out there now. Like, I didn't even realize, like, I found out about it, and then, just through a friend working on a show, like I said, and all of a sudden, I did not realize how big the genre was.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I understand that you're, as you said, the president of 97ToNow Productions. What is it like to be president of a production company for audio dramas?
You know what? It's more kind of a title at this point. We're doing huge things coming up. So we have our very first comic book convention going on that comes in September. And if anybody out there is interested, September 7th of this year in Carson City, Nevada, the capital of Nevada. We will be hosting the very first Kaboom Con. So we are super excited about that. So pretty much me as the president, I'm more of the face, whereas Mark, who is our CEO, he likes to be in the background. He doesn't like to, he likes being up front, but not as much as making sure everything is working logistically. Whereas me, I am very, charismatic, friendly with the people. And so I'm more of the face in that aspect.
Gotcha. And I know how you mentioned before somewhat how 97 to Now production started, but what was the actual beginning of 97 to Now Productions?
Oh, man, that is actually, so I was thinking about this the other day because when I know we had started doing our podcast, and like I said, we wanted to figure out, we knew if we wanted to monetize anything, we would have to actually be like a business,
An LLC.
And so an LLC, which we are. And so I was like, we were trying to think of a name. And we were trying to figure out how, but we were also trying to also double check to make sure it wasn't already a name and things like that. And I think it just popped up. I was doing math and I was like, wait, what year did we meet? We met in 1997. Okay. And we're still friends now. So 97 to now. And that's kind of how it got started. And there was nothing else had that name or anything else. So we were actually pretty set. So 1997 is the year that we met. I was a sophomore in high school. He was a freshman in high school. And we became friends through theater. And we have continued our friendship to now. So 97 to now. And see, and the thing is, the nice part is that now can continue. It doesn't stop.
That's amazing. So was it like a theater class, or did you guys meet during like a play production?
No, so we met because we did the same shows and everything else. Well, most of the same shows. I didn't do every show, but we met in our high school. We went to Newark Memorial High School in Newark, California. We had what we called the quote unquote drama hallway, and that's where during lunch, during breaks, things like that, people who were in the theater, we would normally just kind of congregate in this hallway and just kind of hang out. We'd talk, joke, laugh, all that kind of stuff, eat our food, and, just have a good old time together. And then after school, if there was a show going on, or sometimes even if there wasn't a show going on, we'd all kind of hang out and, we'd go eat, and we'd, be in rehearsals and hang out after rehearsals and after shows and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how we were all in this kind of thing together. So, surviving high school, making productions and just kind of, growing together.
That's amazing. It's also super fun to talk to someone, a fellow theater kid and all that stuff. When I was in high school, I did one production. I tried to get into some of the others, but wasn't able to. But the one I was able to be a part of, I don't know if you've heard of this musical. I didn't until I actually applied to be the main character, ended up being the villain. And that is Urinetown. Have you ever heard of that show?
I have heard of Urinetown. I have not seen Urinetown. I've heard some of the music from it, but yeah, unfortunately, I have not been able to see that show. I've heard great things about it, though.
Yeah, it's. I remember I was talking to the person, the lead, because his mom was the director and all that stuff. So when he was telling me about it, I was like, "Oh, so is it like someone coming to town?" He's like, "No, it's not Urinetown. It's Urinetown." And I was like, do I really want this to be the musical I'm in for my senior year in high school? And I was like, you know what? I'll probably not get a big part. And if I don't, I'll just continue doing wrestling. And lo and behold, I was the main villain because apparently I just oozed villainous.
Hey, man. Somebody's got to play the villain. Sometimes villains can be way more fun, man.
Oh yeah, it was fun. I had a pretty good time. There was some stuff, like there's always some stuff when it comes to theater productions, but all in all, it was a happy memory. And now with the digital age, my mom has a copy that she won't let me destroy or burn, so now that's still out there.
Yeah, there are some performances that we have out there that we wish we could take back. Yeah.
Oh, so I was president of my student government association, and the summer before we actually started, one of the other students were showing people around, and I had these little kids point at me, and they said, "It's the peeing man." I was like, "I'm sorry, the who?" And just to learn that they showed them, and this was the person I knew from high school, our production of Urinetown. I was like, no.
Yeah, well.
So I'm there like, well, that's my life now. That's okay. Luckily, that nickname didn't stick. Thank God. So I was like, all right, cool. Nobody else was
so
around. It's
funny.
just a bunch of kids. They probably don't even remember
Man.
it. So happy thoughts. So when it comes to going back to 97 to now, do you since you guys are now like a big company, do you guys have writers coming to you with stories to produce? Was that like that in the beginning of your company's life, or when you started, did you already have a writing staff?
So we had two writers. Tara Eon and Austin Dye. They were the ones that started. They were the ones that started Murphy's Inc. It was so as you probably know, Murphy's Inc. was created by we call him Chan the creator. And Tara and Austin were the original writers and were with us for the first two seasons. Austin kind of fell off, and he was like, I'm going to step away. And more recently, unfortunately, Tara stepped away. But before they left, we ended up being able to pick up a couple of other writers. So we have Tyrus. Ashley is one of our writers for Murphy's Inc. And Sebastian. But they kind of all, I don't know if I don't remember exactly how they came, but I think it was on Reddit. They saw a post and they were, interested in writing. So they, came over and were, we kind of told them what it was about. Actually, I can't say we, because I wasn't actually a part of that conversation, but they were told what it was about and they decided they wanted to stay on and write. And they've done a phenomenal job. Before Ashley actually even joined our writing team, she had actually, I don't even know how she got in touch with us, but she had pitched us another idea. Unfortunately, that idea didn't really work at that time, but not long after she got on, because she had never written for like a podcast or for audio drama or TV or anything like that. So that was something that she was interested in doing. And so, like I said, she had brought us this original story idea and kind of fleshed it out, and we enjoyed it, but it just didn't work at that time. But what she did, like I said, got onto our writing staff for Murphy's Inc., kind of got more into how everything was supposed to flow.
Really?
And then she brought us this new idea, which is Oakbridge. And man, we were like, what? I remember, like, again, I got onto it a little bit late. She had brought it. Mark had kind of told me a little bit about it, and I was like, yeah, if it's something that you're interested in, then let's do it. And so, once, like I said, I started reading these scripts and I was like, man, this is actually a really good story. And then kind of talking to Ashley about it, finding out a little bit more, and I was like, no, we can do this for sure. And like I said, it's been a lot of fun, very taxing, but it was one of those things where, hopefully, we have other writers that want to come and, at least pitch us ideas, and then we can kind of see how it fits in with everything. And is it something that we think can, move forward, or is it almost there and we can do some rewrites and things like that? Or if it's something that we're just not really interested in doing.
Gotcha. So, going off of that, what is the process for deciding for any writers out there that want to submit any story ideas for their stories to move forward when it comes to making the audio drama?
Basically, have a compelling story. And if you can, write out at least quote unquote pilot episode to see if and so we can actually kind of read it, see how it works. If you can give a description of the world, really building the world, building the characters, because that's very important, especially in audio dramas, due to the fact that you don't have the visual. Like for TV and film and things, you can, once you kind of have that vision, you have the people in front of you, you can actually see them, and so it helps with that kind of a visceral, that you're like, oh, okay, I know what they're going for here. He's a rugged explorer type. Okay, got that. She's kind of the quote unquote damsel in distress, type deal. But with audio dramas, it's all conveyed through voice, sound, and music. And so you have to make sure that when you're putting this all together, that you build that world. So you want to make sure, like I said, you come with a compelling story, you come with compelling characters, and you can really build the world so that people will hear it and see what your vision was as well. Hopefully.
So Oakbridge basically hit all those notes when they came to you.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. And is the production for Oakbridge different from the production of your guys' first show, or is the process basically the same?
Pretty much the same, except for this one, when we were doing the recording sessions, it was just me. Like on our other shows, it's been, a director plus showrunner or whatnot. And so it's kind of like, okay, we have a couple extra people here to help, listen for things and make sure, everything sounds good and all that kind of stuff. But this one, it was actually pretty much not primarily, it was actually just all me. So there are things that now I wish I had done a little bit different, but overall, yeah, it was like I said, same but different.
Gotcha. And I know Ashley hinted on this, but how many seasons do you think we should expect for our Oakbridge for the upcoming future?
As far as I know, we have 3 seasons. But, I don't know. Depending on, if people really like it, could have another in there. I don't know. But as far as I know, after season 1, there should be 2 more seasons.
That's amazing. And when it comes to the productions of your shows, especially since you were doing Oakbridge, basically doing the editing by yourself, were there any like tech regrets or production mistakes that you basically can laugh at now, but back then it was like, oh my God, this is the end of the world?
Yeah, so the thing is, I don't actually edit this show. That's the nice part. We actually have a guy, his name is Joe Bly. Amazing. He actually does all our editing and all that kind of stuff, and he does great work. There are some things that I wish I had on my end as directing. There was some things that I should have done differently. Basically downloading all our files at the end of our sessions instead. Like that was so stressful, especially at the end, trying to get everything together, because I realized I hadn't downloaded everything, and so I finally got everything downloaded. I had to go through pages and pages of transcripts trying to find the correct lines and stuff like that. So if I knew now what I needed to know then, I would have been doing the downloading and all that kind of stuff as soon as we were done, instead of waiting way later in the game. But overall, again, very happy with what we're getting right now. And so, yes, I could have changed, but you know what? I don't know if it would be the same right now. But like I said, for the next few seasons, now I kind of have a hint of what needs to be done.
Gotcha. And when it comes to Murphy's Inc., I know I believe that's your longest running show so far.
Right.
What were some of the cool inspirations for some of the storylines for that show?
Just some of those were just little known historical facts. I did write some of the scenes for season 2, the ending scenes primarily, but the premise, there was a couple of episodes where there was just things that we found and was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I didn't know anything about that, so we could kind of do some research about it and find that's didn't even hear about, never knew about this. So we would kind of make a story around it. So that's kind of how season 2 worked out. There was a couple things. One of our ending arcs was this thing called the Dancing Plague. I had never even heard of that, but it is a real thing. So the one thing that I can tell you about Murphy's Inc. is that we very much try to stay historically accurate. So like when, there's things that are going on in the story in that time period where they are, we want to make sure that if we're portraying real people, if we're, real situations, that we make sure that we kind of do some little bit more research and kind of make it as historically accurate as possible. So that's kind of cool.
That's amazing. And out of all the shows you have worked on, whether that be voice acting, directing, or anything like that, what has been your favorite show to work on so far?
I think this one probably. I think Oakbridge has been my favorite to work on. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Murphy's Inc. because that was the first one. That's basically our flagship for 97ToNow Productions, along with the podcast. But I really, really like working on this It's again, I think it's because of how I mentioned earlier, some of the things that I wish I had done differently. But I think that's what has made this one so much more intriguing to me, because I am so in the trenches with it. And I think that if for people who who do directing, who do acting, things like that, those projects that you're really deep into, that you've just kind of you've dug in so much of your mind, body, and soul into it, that that is becomes a huge part of you. And so I think this one has just become so much more than what I thought it was going to be, and I'm just excited for you guys to be able to finally hear it.
And I'm excited to hear it as well. How passionate Ashley was talking about Oakbridge just gets me excited, and I can't wait for the 21st of June so I can finally listen to the show and see what you guys done so far.
Yeah.
So I understand that Oakbridge is definitely a different genre than Murphy's Inc., but what is one type of genre that you haven't gone into yet with either show, but would like to produce in the future?
Oh, I would love to be able to do like something superhero-y, like a more of a what do you call it? Kind of a more action based, maybe like something with like some type of superhero, something like that. That would be, I think, would be amazing.
So we're talking like Marvel, DC, or we're going more grittier like The Boys or Invincible?
I like all of that stuff. I absolutely love all of it. So like The Boys, I enjoy. Invincible is crazy good. Yeah, I would love to if we could do something Marvel, DC. Like that would be that would be beyond our wildest imaginations. If we were able to get something like that, that would be crazy cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, I understand that DC's starting to get more into the audio drama world. So heck, you never know. Maybe in the future, you guys will be able to do maybe a Green Lantern series, a Batman series, or maybe they'll go with a superhero that no one has ever heard of before or not well known. So you guys would be able to bring them into the spotlight.
That would be awesome.
So, with all your experiences in the audio drama world, what keeps you passionate about the medium?
It became just a creative outlet. I mean, when the world ended, aka 2020, it was one of those things where it was like, man, like what do you keep doing to keep your creative juices going? And so, that's, I think, I could be wrong, but I think that might have been when the resurgence of audio dramas came about, because there was all this time and people needed to get that creativity out, but yet we couldn't be in person. So therefore it was like, how do we do this? And so I truly believe that, it could have been the antithesis for the resurgence in audio dramas. And I don't know, I just think I think it's just one of those things that I enjoy acting. I've come to really enjoy directing, and so it's become one of those things where like, all right, cool, let's take on the next project. And then once you're done with it, in my case, I'm not really truly done. We're never actually really truly done with it until it actually airs, because there's editing and all that kind of stuff, and you're listening to multiple iterations of an episode and tweaking things here and sending notes back and forth, trying to make sure everything sounds good before it actually is in the can. But I think it's just the process and just the ability to have that creative outlet.
That's amazing. And when it comes to all the hats you wear, director, writer, voice actor, like which one has been the hardest so far?
Oh, writing. I'm not a writer. I'm 100% not a writer, but like I said, the scenes that I wrote were basically some of the ending scenes for season 2 of Murphy's Inc., and they did not come easy to me. Once I kind of started writing them, because I've known these characters for some time now, it became a little bit easier. But yeah, no, writing is not my forte. But once I heard what I had written, I was like, oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing. So I always ask every guest this, but do you think that writing a show is harder or editing a show is harder?
Oh, again, I don't know. I I'm gonna assume that editing is a little bit harder. Writing, I'm gonna say, here's what I'm gonna say, because I don't know enough about both of them. I'm gonna say they're probably both equally hard. Because the writing, we actually changed our writing up a little bit, because we have, like one person kind of writing an episode instead of like a team writing an episode, which helps immensely. We might have like pieces, like we'll have them write certain pieces, and then we'll have another writer write front end scenes or back end scenes, depending on how the episode's gonna flesh out. So that can be a challenge there, I'm sure. Editing is another challenge all on its own, due to the fact that you're taking care of making sure you pull the right lines, making sure you have, everything sound, the equalization of the, I don't even know if that's the right word. Making sure you have the same vocal quality for everybody, making sure you're creating you have the sounds for the environment, adding the music and things like that into it. So I think editing might be just a little bit harder, but again, writing is going to be just as equally difficult, because you have to continue to push the story, coming up with new ideas, ways to flesh out the characters that you have, introducing new characters, just for however many, in Murphy's, just a number of different episodes. In Oakbridge, some of these characters are carrying us through the entire season. So it's one of those things, is I think they both have their difficulties. I can't really say one is more difficult than the other.
Well, that's fair. Definitely fair. I've definitely been on both sides. And while I will say editing, in my opinion, is a little bit harder, just coming up with good storylines can be extremely hard, especially finding inspirations just to push the characters. Like, what's going to drive them? What's going to push them over the edge? Because I've written some stuff and had to go back and rewrite them, because after a while I was like, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think what you make a very good point there, is that's one of the things you need. Like I said earlier, you want to make sure that you have those intriguing characters that you can them because you created them, and so you can kind of drive them in a way that you want. And if sometimes you get to a point and you're like, yikes, I want to go this direction, but nothing I've written leads up to that direction. So you might have to go back and do like a whole rewrite of stuff, like you said you did. But I think again, if you have those intriguing characters, they can almost drive themselves when it gets at a certain point.
Gotcha. And if you had to, have you ever had to like talk to the writer because the editor read the script and was like, okay, this is, we can't do this. This is not like feasible at all? Or have you not had to do that yet?
Not really. But one of the things that we did have to do, because Ashley, she's so great. She writes almost visually. The way she writes, it's very visual. So like, if for some reason we were able to get this turned into like a TV series, like a live action TV series, or even just an animated series, she writes very visually. So like, some of the stuff is already built in to how how we can already see it on paper. But there wasn't there was just some things that we were like, okay, that's not what she described there won't really work for audio drama. But it was minor things, and we were like, oh, we can work around that. That's not a big deal.
That's amazing. And besides Ashley and some of the other people you've mentioned before, what are some of the other people that you've had the pleasure of working with within the world of audio drama?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty much just been the ones that we have on our shows. One of the things that we like to do is we like, if you come audition with us, we like to keep you in our Rolodex, basically, quote unquote Rolodex. And, if we have something else coming up, we like to give those people the opportunity to continue their journey with us. We have I absolutely love working with this guy. His name is Connor Howard. His voice is just amazing. And so he's been with us for years now. I think it's been a couple years now that he's been with us. We have some new actors. Monica Wolfkill. One of my favorites was now I'm blanking on names. I hate when I do this. Is his name Richard? I can't remember his name right now. But there's some people that have come to us and out of the blue just kind of knocked our socks off, and it's just like, yo, what? One of our youngest members of this cast, her name is Anouk. She was absolutely amazing, and it was so funny working with her because she is we would talk, and it's like I'm like, wait, this is very simple, but yet I forget she's so young. And so, but at the same time, it's that she's very professional in what she does. And when we would have these moments where it was just like, no, this is a simple word. Why can't you say that? And she'd just be like, I can't say it. And so we'd have, and so it's kind of just breaking her. It was kind of breaking her out of her shell a little bit, but also keeping, and she was so much fun to work with. Her and her father, Remy. Man, they were so much fun to work with. Again, Connor, Monica, I got to work with another friend who I've known since high school, who is also plays in Murphy's Inc. Stephanie, she did a short stint with us in this show, and man, yeah, it was just there's so many people involved, and I can't remember everybody, and I hate my mind because I forget these things, and I should have pulled it up, but I didn't. But yeah, no, it's just it becomes a family, and it's easier when you already know vocal qualities of people, but yet at the same time we also want to bring in new people. That's the one thing that 97 Now Productions, that's what we want to do. We want to be a space to give new artists, new writers, new actors to voice, new voice actors. We want to give them a place where they can develop, and if they move on past us, we love that. We absolutely love that. One of our guys, Quinn Ari, he's what, 18 now? And man, this guy's voice is killer, bro. I'm telling you, this man's voice is amazing. And he's actually now going to do, he's going to school in LA, and he wants to continue voice acting with us, which we will absolutely love. But we are Mark, I think I was talking with Mark, and he said if he moves on past us, I'm great with that. So that's the thing. We want to make sure we give these people the opportunity. We want to make sure we give, writers, actors, we want to make sure we give that opportunity that they might not otherwise have. And then, they'll have stuff for demo reels. They'll have stuff to do whatever else they might want to do.
That's amazing. And it's incredible that you're creating such a safe space for all these artists, writers, and people so they can grow and hopefully make it out there in the voice acting world, the editing world, and the writing world. Especially since, like you said before, the splurge and the rise of audio dramas is now, and it's just continuing to rise and go further than ever before, especially after the quote-unquote end of the world 2020. So with that being said, what were some of your favorite audio dramas that you got to listen to post 2020 or even before that?
Oh, I don't know if you've heard of Wastelanders. It's a Marvel series that they came out with.
Yes, I did listen to that actually.
Yeah, I'm not done.
I think the Star-Lord was my favorite.
Yeah, no, Star-Lord, old man Hawkeye, or not old, it was an old Star, yeah, the Hawkeye, Black Widow, Doctor Doom. Yeah, so like they have been crazy good series. Oh, even some of the other Marvel stuff that they've done with Wolverine has been crazy good. And those I accidentally found those because I have Sirius XM, and on the app these shows kind of popped up, and I was like, ooh, what's this? And so those kind of drew me in. Again, I've also gone back to listen to the first season of Murphy's, listen to second season of Murphy's. So, I guess because it's mine, I do need to listen to them after, even though I've already listened to them, but just listening to them later on down the line is a lot of fun. So those are the ones that I've really gotten into. Like I said, I need to finish the Wastelanders series, but man, like that's why I said I would love to do a superhero thing. If we could get our hands on like one of those kind of Marvel series or DC series, that would be dope. But those are the ones that really fascinated me, and what actually was like, man, I want to be able to create stuff like this. And actually, the crazy part is this. Those series, if you listen to them, have a lot of money behind them, have a lot of big name actors behind them in some cases. But we at 97 Now Productions are getting some of that same quality on a much lower budget. It's all about the people that you get. Our music guy, Louis Palfrey, amazing. Um, Joe Bly, like I mentioned earlier, amazing. So if you just get those couple people that really enjoy what you do and are really kind of dug into your process and want to work with you, it makes it so much easier. And so we're, like I said, we're getting this quality that these kind of bigger budget audio dramas are getting on a much lesser budget, but the quality, it's all about the quality.
I definitely agree. I mean, some of the audio shows I listen to are done with studios with much less budget, and they're fantastic. Like some of the shows I've listened to is We're Alive, Old Gods of Appalachia, Malevolent. One of my most recent favorites is definitely Midnight Burger, The White Vault. And I mean, I definitely agree. And I think because the cost was so much is why Marvel took a step back from the audio world. Because before they did The Longest Night with Wolverine, and they did a sequel to that show. But after that, it was basically nothing. And after The Wastelanders, there hasn't been really anything. And compared to DC, they're basically doing a lot more shows within the audio drama world. So my guess is they kind of figured out getting these production companies that have experience with other audio dramas instead of hiring the big name companies is a lot more economical, and you just have these people that are super passionate about it, so they know they'll take it further, like you said, with a smaller budget.
Right. And I think that's the thing too, is that it's that you have to have those people that are passionate about it. You can have the biggest people in the world working on something and it be absolutely garbage. Whereas you could have some not as big name people working on something that they're passionate about and it be amazing. Might fly under the radar, but can be absolutely amazing. And that's one of the things I think that we've been able to stumble upon.
So, what have been some of the misconceptions about the audio drama world that people might have? Like, are people who do them super rich? Or the voice actors super rich? What are some of the other misconceptions you've come across? Because I know there's a bunch.
You know what? Some people are just kind of the most of the things. It's like, wait, like, so do you do is this TV? No, it's radio. Oh, okay. So how does that work? I basically, one of the things is that when I'm explaining stuff, how the whole audio drama thing works, a lot of people they're so used to TV and everything else because they didn't grow up in that time. If there's a station that I listen to on SiriusXM called Radio Classics, and they played old audio dramas on there. So like Sherlock Holmes and FBI files and stuff like that. So that's how people, they didn't have TVs, they had a radio. And so it was basically, you had to listen and visualize. And it's basically, you got to use your imagination. You're hearing everything, but you kind of have to make things up in your head, see how things go. And people are like, oh, that's cool. And so, none of us, we are not super rich. We would love to be. That would be awesome, because then we wouldn't have to actually work. We are actors. At some point we hope to be able to pay them, but they do this all out of the love of their hearts. They give us their time, they give us their voices, they give us their passion, and we 100% always make sure that we thank them after every session. When we're done with the season, we make sure we thank them for everything that they've done, to show them that we appreciate them and they appreciate us. And so that's the thing. Other misconceptions, maybe I haven't really come across too many. Like I said, I think the one that people just don't quite understand, audio drama. So I sometimes say radio show, because that helps them understand sometimes.
I can see that.
Yeah. But no, I think it's just like, sometimes they're kind of confused on how the process of how it all goes, and it's very much like TV. And no, maybe not like TV, maybe more like movies, because movies don't film in order in most cases. Most cases they film certain parts depending on their the actor schedules. Same thing for us. Like I recorded in series, but there were sometimes I would do multiple episodes in a day because I was working with one particular person. And so, I have them for a couple hours this day. So we're going to knock out, we have a couple episodes in episode 1. We have a couple episodes in episode 2. And then you were gone for an episode and you have some stuff in episode 4. So we get in there and we were to record that stuff. And then they would go and then come back, and then we would record some more stuff later on down the line. So we kind of would go in order, but for the most part, we had the ability to, whoever we were working with, jump to those scenes that they needed to get done in that, in a particular order. So
gotcha. And so for others who are wanting to get into the world of audio drama, what advice do you have for them?
Do it. I mean, shoot your shot. You miss, what was that line? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If there's something that you want to do, take a shot at it. Try it out. See if it works. If it doesn't, you tried. If it does, even better. We didn't know, when we took on producing for Murphy's Inc., we didn't know that, people were going to really enjoy it. We were passionate about it and we enjoyed what we were doing. So it was like easy that for us. With Oakbridge, I don't know if people are going to like it, but I had a ton of fun working on it. And I know the people that worked on it were very excited for it, and they've shown their excitement. You can go on Facebook right now and you can find stuff about Oakbridge from our actors, and they're excited to post about it and everything else. We are, like I said, again, like if you have an idea, heck, send it our way. Let's see. 97 Now Productions. Hit us up on Facebook. If you have an idea, we'd love to take a look at it. If you have, if you are interested in acting, check out our, and you've never done voice acting before, check out when we post, stuff for auditions. Just do it.
Well, the guys, there you have it. Just do it. Just like Shia LaBeouf once said.
We don't talk about him. That man's been blackballed from pretty much everything now.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. So, last question. What can people expect for the upcoming show, Oakbridge? Or if you can't really say anything about that, the upcoming season for Murphy's Inc.?
Oh, well, I can tell you about both. So Murphy's is moving forward. Season 3 is going to be crazy roller coaster on that show. I'm not going to really get into that because we have a lot in store, a lot we're working on for that. But for Oakbridge, there's some fun in it. There's some high drama in it. It's kind of you know what? I'm going to say this. Check it out. Just check it out, because there's no amount of words that I can say that will really pull you in other than it is a sci-fi thriller drama, I guess. Those are the best indicators of the show itself. So if you're a fan of sci-fi shows, if you're a fan of like the X-Files, Outer Limits, Stranger Things type genre, listen to this show. You will enjoy this show.
Well, everybody, like you said, if you're a fan of Stranger Things, if you're a fan of that genre, Oakbridge is definitely the show for you. Well, James, I want to thank you so much.
Right up your alley.
Exactly. Well, James, I want to thank you so much for doing this interview. It has definitely been an honor to interview a president of a big production company. And thank you very much for doing this. I am definitely looking forward to your guys' newest show, Oakbridge, that is going to be airing everywhere you hear podcasts on June 21st. So everyone, definitely mark your calendars.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you. This was so much fun to do, man.
Glad to hear. Hopefully we'll get you in the future and you'll be talking about Oakbridge season 2, 3, 4, 5, and also any future seasons of Murphy's Inc. Or even better, any new shows that any awesome writer is going to bring you and you're like, yes, we got to do this and all that stuff. Hey, you never know. Maybe.
Yes, that absolutely.
Yeah, and you never know. Maybe you'll get a Netflix contract to do a live action series or an animated series.
That would be phenomenal. Oh, that would be so much fun.
Oh, yeah. Just to make sure they don't cancel anything before it's actually done.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, it's been a pleasure. So I'll see you guys next week. Sayonara. See you later. And have a blessed one. Goodbye.